Hey, Rick, buddy. Andrew. Yes, sir. Here she is right here. That's live right there. That's live work. Check in on your gear. Had a boatload of packages come in today. So many restorations and projects and stuff. So a lot of fun coming up. I'll document for you as much as I can. Mark from Australia. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. I got to shut that furnace off there. James, welcome, sir. Welcome. I've just been here. I managed to get here a few minutes early tonight, so I've been scurrying around the shop trying to clean up so it's not as messy on Monday when I come in, because the shop is in a state of catastrophe here. We've been going pretty hard at so many different projects here, a lot of knife work, but also waiting on a few supplies. So during that time, really taking advantage of doing other work here in the shop. Like we built a whole new shipping room this week, and that's going to make a big difference to getting packages out the door, because this year we're making some changes to K&N Knives here, and we're going to see a little more products moving. That's the plan. That's the strategy we're working towards. The furnace blower's cut out. Nice. Hey, Chris. And so a new shipping room, a better design, more efficient shipping room is going to be key to making that happen. So a lot of packages going out the door the last few days. I took a whole box load up to the post office just today again. So it's fun. We're having a lot of fun. Jingle Bells 96. Great. Looking to get them out to you ASAP, sir. Some of the first ones from the new shipping room. Mark, I'm glad you enjoyed that knife sharpening tutorial the other day. I tried to do a good job with that. Revisit the sharpening topic. You know, in my early days on YouTube, I did so much sharpening content, just constant all the time. And I spent a lot of time at that. And to a degree, I know it's the wrong approach, because with YouTube, it's a revolving audience. You know, there's a new audience coming in every day. But to a degree, I feel like, you know, I've said what there is to be said. And in my mind, because I put so much time into that piece of content and it's still sitting there like a catalog, it's like, well, if someone comes in and they want to know how to keep the right angle, well, it's already been done. So, but that's the wrong mindset, because there's a new audience coming in every day. And in most cases, once you subscribe, you're watching from that point onward. And I get that. So I've got to keep up. You know, it's fine, I think, to rehash some of those topics again, start going over the basics again of sharpening. Brad, thanks, buddy. Thanks for showing my content to your boys. That's a beautiful thing. That's really special to me, that idea of that you guys are sitting down wherever you are in your home or whatever, and you're watching my content. I don't take that for granted. And that's why you'll never find on this channel, not that I partake in any ways, but you'll never watch a video where you have any poor language slipping across the screen, or any poor taste humor or anything like that. because I know that there are families like that are sitting in their living rooms. That's important to us. We enjoy watching YouTube. Me and my girls, my wife, we enjoy. There's a few different YouTube channels that we really enjoy. And it's really important because there are very few that we can find that are clean cut and that you can truly turn the volume up and just be comfortable sitting there in the room all watching and be confident you know that nothing inappropriate is going to come across the screen. Or that's important to us. Mark, I'm glad that you binge watched the older stuff. A lot of that was done back in the days where it seemed like I had so much time to make content. So some of those videos, although my editing skills and stuff weren't on par back then, not to this degree that they are these days, but I had a lot more time to put into videos, and I could just build on the story, and I could take a lot longer to film and this type of thing, you know. You could work on a single knife project for several days and film, and you get, hours of footage over the course of a couple of days. And now you sit down, you take 3 or 4 days, and you're picking away editing this video. You can really put a fine production together. Like, as Mr. Captain just put up, that old flatbed conversion video series. That was, now, I never at any point thought that was going to be like an insanely popular series. It's a project that I really wanted to do for me and have fun with. But I think that series is top notch in terms of storyline following through. I've been wanting ever since I finished that series to take all the footage, all the videos, put it all together in one like mega run-on video and either upload it or I know people are not doing DVDs anymore, but that seems like such a DVD type thing, right? Because it would be 2 or 3 hours long in a watch. And that's if you really cut it down, because I think there are some 20 or 30 parts to that series, I believe. And all of them are fairly lengthy. So it would be a big project, but I would love to do that. I think that was a great series. If you haven't watched it, go. I think I have the full playlist put together on my YouTube where you can watch the flatbed conversion series. We start out right from going and hunting down this old flatbed, me and Dad on the road. And it was just a lot of fun. Every time I think of that project, it brings back a lot of memories. Kind of sorry that I sold that truck. Should I never sold that truck. Tavis, welcome, sir. Michael J.M., welcome. Tavis, thanks, buddy, for the new website. I've put a lot of work into the website in the last few weeks, building that out, making some changes, making it work better for you guys. And, yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm excited that you can have a platform that you go in and it looks new and clean, and I'm just real happy with it. I remember, Michael, you asked, what knife am I carrying? That Dragonfly. Love it. K390 by Spyderco. This is my favorite EDC. I'm also carrying the Leatherman Juice S2. I've had this thing for a lot of years, and it is my favorite Leatherman. Not for features. It doesn't have my favorite feature set, but when it comes to carryability, how well it's made, the tool set is a really nice tool set if you're going to EDC one multi-tool along with a knife, because I don't think this has enough of a blade to really say that you're carrying a knife. So yeah, some of these models, unfortunately, they are iconic and they went out. This is not even the color that I wanted when and I believe the S2, I don't think the S2 was the model I originally went for, but I love it and I use it often. It sits in like that little coin pocket on my jeans. And I'm also carrying, I believe, Sharpie, almost always rides in my pocket now, just use it so much around the shop here. But I've also, for multiple years now, been carrying a fountain pen. And if you want to step up your EDC game, first off, just a pen in general, start carrying a pen. I don't know about you guys, but I use this all day, every day. from, just working leatherwork, marking wood for some woodworking, at the bench here constantly, drawing up templates. When I'm on the go, I charge something on account at the store and I sign the bill, to signing a check, to on and on and on. It's just out of my pocket all the time. If I've got to make a little note on my hand, it's just nice. This, just because someone's probably going to ask, oh, what is this? This is the Kawaii Sport, and it's in the green. I've got the brass. It's the brass. There are a couple colors. I have the royal or navy blue as well, but these are awesome. See the fountain pen tip? Replaceable ink cartridges. These aren't real expensive, but just, it's a conversation piece, that's for sure. Almost every time I pull it out. Some blooper videos. I don't know how many blooper videos I have of that project. Surely there's a bunch there. I have, probably close to a terabyte of footage from that project. Just an insane amount of footage. And I was real meticulous because I knew when I started, this is going to be a huge project, going to be a huge catalog of footage. So right from the start, I labeled everything. I categorized it, part 1, part 2. It's all, so I can go back on my drive and pick through it real nice. Ariel, you enjoying the more frequent content or video schedule? I'm glad, sir. I'm glad. The new knife models, one of the 2 primary releases this year, it's going to be a little later, probably midsummer. The other is going to come now. You're probably going to see it within 2 weeks. You're going to see it within 2 weeks. The materials are in. The plan is drawn up and developed. We're ready to rip on it. So we're pretty excited for that. Yeah, Scott, we broke down on the way home. By the way, guys, if you could just leave me a comment there. How am I coming through tonight? How is the audio and video quality? You can see a beautiful, loud and clear, Mark. Good. Michael, thank you very much for the feedback there. Just wanted to make sure. I also wanted to thank you guys. I had a bunch of reviews left on the Google business page for K and Knives this week. I really, really appreciate that. That goes so far, goes really, really far in terms of my business. And I have the widget now put on my website, so people visiting kandknives.ca to shop at the store can see those reviews pop up there. So it's just really valuable to my business. I don't want dishonest reviews. I don't want people chiming in and leaving a review just because of the giveaway that we're doing. But I do want honest reviews left there. So I really appreciate everyone who's done that so far. Cleared an open line. Yeah, you got to love Elon. You're right. The Starlink on this system, where we're located at here, we're almost halfway between 2 little small rural towns. So we're out here in the woods. There's a highway that connects them. We're out here in the woods, and we're outside of a location where you can get connected to landline internet. There's no, I don't know what they said, no distribution box or something this far out. So my only real internet option was satellite internet. There were a couple options. Before I bought this building, the last people who owned it had ExploreNet on it, and they said it was not good. It was really poor. So I took a leap on Starlink, and it is just mind-blowingly well. Just mind-blowingly good. Ariel, I have not formally HRC tested my steel. No. I've done a lot of comparisons, especially in the early days, a lot of testing and comparisons on the heat treat, comparing to other blade steels, other knives, different production knives, just knife after knife coming across the bench here. Lots of testing going in, relative testing, comparative. And I've been really happy with what I've been able to do with the performance of the O1. From my perspective, I've gotten out of the O1, out of my heat treat at this point, just about everything that I think I could get out of it in terms of performance. I've been treating O1 exclusively now for years, quite a few years. I've moved through several different heating setups, forge setups, several different quench tank setups. Okay, you're asking now about merch. I'm glad you're asking because I actually have a whole bunch in the works right now coming. I've dropped the ball on this years ago. Several years ago, I made a run of merch, t-shirts, some hats and things like that. But I made the mistake of trying to do a bunch of it myself. So I printed a bunch of them myself. The hats, we hand stitched the patches on them. And it was just, by the time you put in all the effort, it made 0 sense. And so I dropped the ball and sort of put a bad taste in my mouth, although I know people really loved the merch and it did pretty well. I am ready to do merch again. Dad has been keeping on. I'll admit, Dad has been keeping on for 2 or 3 years now. You gotta get the merch back up and running. So it's coming within a couple weeks. Before February is out, there will be a full merch line, apparel on the website. And this is part of the reason too that we're building a new shipping room now with new shelving and a center, because that stuff goes, a little more quicker than $200, $300, $400, $500 knives, right? T-shirts, hats, things like that move a little more quickly. And so we want to be ready for that. Want the groundwork put in before that product comes in. So we're ready for it at this point. We're working through all the logo files and everything with a printer. And I'm ready to drop some merch on the table, get it out for you guys. These are nice mugs, eh? I had a huge box of these years ago, quite a few. We sold a bunch. I gave away a bunch. They're originally bought mostly to be like giveaways, but I also have a lot kept. So there's a bunch here around the shop, out on counters and places with files in them. And I probably have 8 in my cupboards home because I just keep bringing an extra one home. Michael, we're going to have to get another mug out to you, buddy. Nomadic Newfies. If you're traveling across the province, can we make an appointment to personally view the knives before buying? Absolutely. You can email me is always best. Email. I'll see if I can write it in the comments there now. Kyle@np-inc.ca. So you should be able to have a look there in the comment section now. That is my email. If you want to email me for sharpening, restoration work, custom knife builds, anything like that, you can do so there. If you want to make an appointment to stop into the shop to see some of the product, you can do that. I still haven't figured out the whole drop-in visitation type thing. We were talking about this just in the past week. It's kind of a difficult thing because we're not a storefront here. I don't have a storefront, and I don't do a lot of local sales. There isn't a big market for premium high-end products around here. It's just not there. It's just the way it is. So I've never pushed. There we go. I've never pushed my advertising here locally, and so I've never needed a storefront as such. I have product here sitting in the cabinet when it gets finished. Someone local might message or email or something like that, ask if they can, I'm looking for something for my father for Father's Day. And so I make a couple suggestions, and then they'll drop by and pick it up, or I'll drop it off at their house, something like that. For the regular visitation, I'm not exactly sure how to go about that yet because we don't have a storefront. This is a manufacturing site, right? So it's tough to have people just regularly dropping in. In the summer, each year it increased a little bit, the amount that tourists stop by. I suspect this year it'll be that much more again, especially with the Google business page up and running. You'll be able to see a hotspot, Haven't figured out how to do it yet. By appointment, would be, ideal. That would work out. Book an appointment, tour the shop here. That would work. All day long when you're trying to manufacture, people dropping in, that would be tough. That would be tough. Hey, Kathleen, EDC and Lace. Thanks for stopping into the stream. Father and son, hey, buddy. Doing good. Jingle Bells 96. Is a feller still able to acquire one of those original Can Knives mugs? When we were moving out the shipping room the other day, we built the new shipping room and we were moving everything from the old packing and shipping room over to the new one. There was a little box on the shelf with 2, 3, 4 brand new Can Knives mugs. We took them out and laid them on the shelf in the new shipping room. So there are a couple there available. If you want to shoot me an email, we will see if we can set up a deal or something. But I haven't decided what I want to do with them yet. Mr. Captain, build a little store shed next door. I actually have that building I considered, because I've got a beautiful, it's funny, behind this big garage here, I don't know, some of you, if you've been watching the videos closely over the last couple of years, behind my big workshop here, there's a building, an outbuilding. It's bigger than either shop I ever had before this shop. That shop out there that alone would have been a perfect shop for Can Knives alone. It's 20 by 24, I believe 10-foot ceilings, full concrete slab. It's a big building. And I'm considering doing that. If I do end up acquiring a lot of local visitation and tourist type visitation and stuff like that, I might consider doing that. Fully finishing out, because that building's never been finished. My boat is out there now. That's what's in there. So we'll see. You got a good eye. You got good ideas there, buddy. Something we're considering. We'll see. Check out this beautiful. This is another knife that I didn't really realize that I had. I don't believe it's on the website, but this is a Takamura Scandi grind, a beautifully finished Scandi forge finish, in orange Osage with a cherry red liner and natural micarta pins. It's just a beautiful piece in hand. That orange Osage is really, really nice. This is another one that's available. I'm going to see. I'll probably get it back up on the site now that I've seen it there. I guess that's why big centers, shopping centers and stuff, once or twice a year, they kind of close or half close for a week, and they do inventory, right? They pull everything out of the shelves so they know exactly what they've got going on. And found a few goodies. Blue Dog, I'm glad you're enjoying the live stream, sir. I'm enjoying them too. Really, really enjoy this time. EDC Lace, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Pulled this mug off off one of the tables that had a bunch of hand files in it. Gave it a rinse out. I can see I didn't clean it perfectly there as we're getting to the bottom. Yeah, those mugs are historical pieces. Mule Power Forge. Any tips for doing brass bolsters? I guess my question would be tips towards what? How to fix them to the knife, or how to finish them, how to shape them. What are you wondering about? Sergey from Vorsma, welcome to the stream. Michael says or asks, what is my number one selling knife currently? The most knives sold of all time would be the Bake Apple, probably by a long shot. I've sold quite a few Bake Apples. That's probably still the top seller. Probably, I'm guessing it's a great pattern. I've never heard a bad thing about the Bake Apple, I don't think. But also, it's the way it's designed, the dimensions allows me to get it in a price range that's suitable for a larger group of customers. You know, the $400 knife market, you know, you've really cut down on your customer base, just the way it is, right? So for those Bake Apples, for $165 up to $200, say, for a production model, you're right in the price range where it works for a lot of people. So I think that's part of it too. The Tradesman in 2023, when we released the Tradesman was a huge pattern. The Tuckamore's done really well. The Yellow Fox has done well in phases in and out. Those are sort of the bread and butter patterns that we're making all the time, that I've made a lot of. You know, knives like the Warrior. I haven't made a monstrous number of Warriors, not compared to some of the other knives, because they're a large pattern. They're a little more niche than some of the other models that I make. Father and Son Outdoors, you have that mug? Yes, you do. I saw you post a picture of it not too long ago. Just on a random weekday, I believe it was. How to attach the brass to the knife and how to finish it. Well, epoxies I have found don't work well for brass, and brass wants to let go of anything if it gets warm. So in my opinion, it has to be a mechanical joint. And I would go to, I always rely on good old fashioned peened heads, like a press fit type design. So this beautiful, available by the way, knknives.ca, this beautiful Loveless pattern, inspired by Bob Loveless original, has brass bolsters. So these are slabs you can see sandwiched on the tang like that. And these have 3 through pins all the way through. I think it would be like a triangle pattern here, here, and here. 3 through pins. And the slab of brass will have obviously a shaft through it, or a hole through it, and then it'll be a flared opening on the end. We'll put the pins through, and then they will be peened out to fill out that mushroomed opening. That'll happen on both ends. We'll grind it in. We'll peen it out again to make sure it's there. And then you have an ultra tight mechanical fit. You also want to put a barrier as you can between the brass and whatever steel you're using, just to reduce any risk of like galvanic corrosion or any dissimilar metals, oxidation, different things like that. So we'll use like an epoxy for that. We'll use an epoxy for that. And then as for finishing, you want to take it. It's really, really important that you have a good buffer system. I was talking to someone via email about this past week. You want the right compound. You want the right material wheel. You want the right speed on that wheel. You can sand it and get a decent finish hand sanding, but brass is so soft. Even if you wet sand it up to 2000 grit, you'd still see every scratch and striation from that 2000 grit. Brass is so soft. Whereas you sand steel to 2000 grit, it looks almost flawless. It's gleaming if you've done a good job. Brass, so soft. If I took a piece of 2000 grit paper now and just wiped on that, you would see every mark, every mark. I love the profile of the Loveless style knife. It's just such a beautiful, beautiful set of lines. If you'll just look at that profile there, really works well. And this is like classic mild drop point. This is like signature Loveless pattern here. The lines are perfect, pretty much in my opinion. And then I've done, kind of my own design a little bit of flair, but that brass bolster, again, that signature Loveless design from Bob Loveless. Really, really like that. Really like it. Michael, Dad's first knife did or has not sold yet. That's that Buck 110. It got finished out. You can actually see it if you head to the website, knknives.ca. You can see it listed there on the site. It was just posted, I believe, really early yesterday morning. So other than that, I have not had any contact with anyone about it. We'll see. The bucks don't move super fast usually on my website. I guess because most people who come to KN Knives site, they're coming for a 100% KN Knives product. And I get that the bucks stray a little bit from there. But it just turned out beautiful. He did a fantastic job on that. The scales chosen, primo. Yeah, Brad, I'm glad you like that. There's some, if you just want to go to the website to see it, there's just a beautiful set of pictures there, in my opinion. Of course, I took and edited all the pictures, so that might be a little bit biased, but I think they really show off the knife well. Yeah, if you want to take a look, they look real nice. I don't have it here on the table now. I have a knife here. The Prevail is another pattern I do that I haven't done a ton of. This is a lot more red in person. It's on the website there now for sale as well. The forged finish on this one is wild. Just look at the texture on there. A red and gray Spectra ply, a black Ultrex here spacer, and then a red G10 up front, polished tang. Very, very cool. The Prevail's in 3/16. It's a heavy duty pattern. So only the Warrior and the Prevail are my two production models that are wearing 3/16. Heavy steel. Other than that, we do some, of course, lots of custom work. And there are a few models that I run every once in a while, like this Knifemaking. I've built this Knifemaking a number of times and always in. This is just such a beautiful knife, classic. Polished tang in a black walnut. Saber grinds. Got all the right lines in my opinion. This is kind of like my modern take on the original Knifemaking design. I think it's real nice. If you have a look at that mosaic pin. Just a massive mosaic pin there. Always enjoy doing those. Mosaic pins are quite expensive. In most places you get them. Quite expensive. But they're a lot of fun. Yeah, thanks, Mule Power. I also have, I'll just finish showing out on the table here. I also have, this is just in comparison with size dimensions for you. So we're going from, something kind of heavy and chunky there to a little more EDC pattern. This is the EDC Wharncliffe, and it was designed for just that everyday carry scenario, where I think the Wharncliffe shaped blade is premium. You've got that coarse cut jimping there, just the right size. Nice compact sheath. This would just make a great EDC knife, a ranch hand knife, farm knife. Speaking of EDC Wharncliffe, Brian Abbott, who just checked in. Hey, Brian, has one of the nicest, probably the nicest EDC Wharncliffe I've ever made. We did an EDC Wharncliffe for him with the brass bolsters. Newfoundland colors. Rick Whitson, let's do it, buddy. I would love to make you a hunting knife too. And then let's have a look at this piece. This is a unique piece here. This was when we were going through the stock room this week. This is another piece that we came across that was sitting there, and we took it out and put it on the shelf. But look at this beauty. It's in a black and white pearloid kieranite, so synthetic, full synthetic. Copper pins. This is a big knife, 3/16 stock, full polish, forge finish. Look at that real high flat. Just love this knife. Love it. And then it's in a, I don't do a lot of black leather, but it's in a full black dangler. I really like that knife. Really like it. When you get those big 3/16, I build all of my knives. It used to be big when before I was ever a knife maker. When I was big into the bushcraft community and spent a whole lot of time in the back country, you know, everyone was talking about at that time when you start getting on the knife content. Can it baton? Can it baton? That was the thing. The thing. I don't know if it's still prevalent in the knife community or not, but everything came down to yeah. But can it baton wood? And baton wood, if you're not familiar, means that you could take a stick of wood, put it on its end like this. Let's get my mug that's a little taller. Okay, you get a stick of wood. You can throw your knife across it like this. Then you can use another piece of wood to pound that knife vertically down through the piece of wood to split your wood for firewood processing. Is that still a huge thing in the knife community, knife talk, in the bushcraft talk? Because that was all the rage. And you know, all of my knives, except for custom pieces, and there are pieces, some of the pieces I make that are partial tang, that are guard knives, you know, slip-on guards, partial hidden tang type knives like that. They are not. I would not guarantee a knife like that for batoning, because you have stress points, and as knife makers, we try to reduce the stress points and we try to make adjustments in the design so that, yeah, in most cases they would hold up to general batoning. But all of my production models, I would put them through that test, and they have been put through those tests, and they're all made to baton. Absolutely, they should be able to. It's, in my opinion, what is premium steel, O1 tool steel, viciously tough, heat treated and tempered well. It should be able to slam down through some spruce knots, no problem. No problem. Hammer on it. I've hammered on the back of my knives with small 2-pound steel mauls, and they're just fine. Drive them down through a piece of green or dry spruce, no problem. Blue Dog, I'm not sure what knife you're talking about for sale, but if you want to shoot me an email regarding any of the knives on the stream there, that goes for any of you. You want to shoot me an email? Scott Axe is a logical choice. That was a common point as well. Now, I spent enough time in the woods. To know that if you're out in a couple feet of snow, an axe does not do a good camp time job of, unless you've got a real beautiful big stump nearby that a sawyer has left. If you don't have that, an axe does not do well in a couple feet of loose snow. Whereas you can get, you know, a little piece of anything put down, you can stand your stick up on it, and you can so controlled split down, you know, your 2 and 3 inch brick of wood, just really clean. And at times when I went in with an axe and there was a bunch of snow like that, trying to split down the wood, you're driving it down through the snow and you're packing your back right full of snow. I do appreciate in that scenario being able to baton with my knife. That is important to me. I want to be able to do that. And I have enough experience in the woods that I know that's what I want. And so my knives are built for that. They're built for exactly that. If you want the knife of mine that'll do that with the most heft and the most confidence possible, it would be the Warrior, or it would be something like this, is somewhat close to the Warrior, a little more slender in the tip, a little higher flat grind. It's cut a little thinner, but I want my knives to be able to baton. They're all designed to do that. What was the handle material on the EDC Warncliffe? That is no, it's not gray. It's hard to tell with the lighting on this. The colors are really dull, but it is like a desert tan. Not as yellowy as like a khaki, but it's like a little bit cooler desert tan. It's really, really nice. Brian, that's right. That's right. That knife was built for Steven. Man, I love that knife. I shared pictures of it on my K&I's Facebook page just there last week, I think it was. I had a couple people here locally actually mention it to me. Mark, your knives are so magnificent. Oh. Yeah, I try to have a variety of patterns to meet everyone's needs. You know, I have from your EDC knives to your small little companions, like the Bay Capel, the EDC Warncliffe, right up to big, heavy use woods knives and hunting knives. You know, I try to fill that with the Yellow Fox and a number of different patterns. I try to be as versatile as possible. We'll see what this year brings. Like I said, I've got a couple more patterns on the table where I think are gaps in my lineup. I'm excited for that. Knives specific for anglers and their filleting. Yeah, the second pattern this year is going to fill that role. Not exactly a filleting knife, not a paper thin flexible filleting knife, but getting over in that realm. Orange G10 with the black pins is so sharp. Oh yeah, I love that too, Scott. Maybe I'll do a run of those here soon. Michael, folders. I can't see it happening. Not for a while. That's going to have to be a down the road type project. I can't see how you could build them efficiently enough, quickly and efficiently enough where the price is sellable to market. And maybe I'm thinking too small there, but I'm thinking for the amount of time I would have to put in to build a folder. And I've played around with some folder designs. I kind of know what would have to go into it. In order to build a custom K&N Knives folder, it would need to sell for in the thousands range, you know, multiple $1,000 for a custom folder. And that is a hard market to play in. It's a really hard market to enter. You know, when you're to the point where you've had a career at it and it is what you are known for, you know, like I've got the names gone of a bunch of different custom folder guys. Got their names gone, but you know, yeah, absolutely. Kathleen, do I have any of my kitchen knives available to show? No, I do not. I can show you a template real quick. So for the most part, there are, in terms of kitchen knives, this was the first kitchen knife pattern I ever developed. And it was on paper at the time. And just a couple of years ago, I said, I'm going to lose that. It was getting so wrinkled up and crinkled because I built it quite a few times for people that I transferred it over. And now I put all my templates pretty much on Kydex because you can get such a clean line. It's the right weight. It's just really nice. It's durable and nice to work with. But here is one. And I think this is a very ideal size for everyday kitchen tasks. And then this is another pattern. And I built both of these quite early on. I've built quite a few of these as well for clients all over the world. I know I have one of these in Australia. I've a couple of these in Australia, actually. And I only mention that because I know there's someone here watching from Australia. These are all over the world right now. It's a fun pattern. I really like it. But Kathleen, I'm sorry I can't show more to you right now of kitchen patterns. I build them pretty much upon request. It is one of my goals this year to regularly have a kitchen knife section on the website. To develop these patterns on a somewhat regular basis and always keep a couple up there for to fill another niche, right? Scott, um, always making custom belts here. A bunch of custom belt orders just this week. That's pretty much just a regular ongoing thing here now where we build custom knives. Some of the finest, or belts, sorry, some of the finest belts in the world, I think. We run them here ourselves. The feedback we've got on them is really incredible. And there's just nothing like, before I developed and made my own belt, I had never found a real good belt. Now I'm not saying my belts are the only good belt. I just mean they're on par with the best. It's hard to explain to someone who's never had a premium belt what it is to have, 8 ounces of leather, inch and a half, just a level of premium that's pretty special. Mr. Captain, what Newfoundland names are you going to use on your new knife patterns? The Grand Bank or the Terra Nova? Hey, now that's an idea. In the beginning, when I developed my patterns, I did use that a lot. Different Newfoundland names and local, like the name Yellow Fox comes from a cove that's just down beneath my shop here, called Yellow Fox Cove. So I have a knife named the Yellow Fox. Tuckamore Forest. The Tuckamore Forest comes from Newfoundland. And so we have the Tuckamore. And the Bake Apple is a native berry to Newfoundland. So we have the Bake Apple, and on it goes. Grand Bank would be a great name for one of the knives I have coming this year. Ariel, speaking of Kydex, ever going to do a sheath? I do Kydex sheaths for knives only upon request at this point. I don't usually make a habit of doing Kydex sheaths. I'm not a huge fan of Kydex. I like them in a certain role, but in most, outdoors, bushcraft type roles, I don't like Kydex. I don't like what it does to blades and edges, and I don't like that. In a tactical scenario or for a boot knife, something in your pants, something in your hip where you're in a little more urban setting, Kydex would be just fine. But the problem I have is when you're in a bushcraft scenario and you're in around turf and dirt and gravel and rocks and sand, you're climbing around, you're kneeling down in the camp, you start getting little bits of grit inside that plastic sheath. And every time your knife is going in and out, it's just dragging the cheeks of your blade. Dragging. You can feel it and you can hear it. I've seen it many times. I've had, before I was a knife maker myself, I've had Kydex sheath knives, and they're hard on the blades. Leather does not tend to do that because there's always enough give and movement and fiber inside of there that those bits of grit and bits of sand and bits of dirt, they get buried and they're kind of taken in by the leather, and they don't, it's not too hard surfaces with a piece of grit. That's hard on the heart when you're you pull your knife out and you've got that key scratch up the side, Yeah, leather is certainly my favorite. Andrew, your chef knife behind a winning pattern. Can we have a look on camera, Andrew? You were raving about this, weren't you? Raving about this pattern. Let's just see. That's a tough one. It's a tough one. Elijah? Yeah, I could see the Kydex really being where I'd want to go for holsters. Did you see that? You see I just pulled the box right off of the knife? That's a beautiful piece. That's a beautiful piece. So this would be a common scenario. If you guys are wondering, I get this constantly every week. I get products sent in like this. This is a beautiful knife sent in by Andrew here. So he'll email me. This is how it works. He'll email me. Right now, if you go to my website, I have a services or knife services tab, and you can reach me that way. So you don't have to go online hunting for my email. There's a contact form there to fill out, where you can get a hold of me real easily. You can read about my different services, but someone will contact me and they'll have a piece like this, or a lot of cases, worse shape. This is actually in pretty nice condition. A Bushcraft. Really beautiful. Look at that. I like the weight. It's quite heavy for me to use. This is too large for me to use on an everyday type basis. This would be like a special scenario type knife for me. Just a monstrous knife, but really, really nice. Just check out, see if I'm getting behind here. A Siemens knife with a Marlin spike in the same case. Yes, I have considered it. I actually have a sort of friend within the Canadian Coast Guard, and he showed me one time. He pulled his out, and he asked me if I could make something like that, and I would love to do. That would be a fun project. That would be a fun project. Okay, Ariel. It's funny you mentioned the soft leather. We were just talking, Dad and I, the other day, talking about leather and the amount of differences that come between hides. I try to be consistent. I always order the same weight hide. I usually stick with the same grade, same class, same species of animal. And sometimes the leather will be really supple, really soft. And the end sheath. Let's see, this one's kind of right in the middle here, It's fairly pliable. I can bend it pretty good. Sometimes they'll come really soft to the point where you can bend the knife pretty good on this dimension. And sometimes they come so hard and tough. If your utility knife is not brand new, you can barely, it's like cutting, if you chew like a piece of crystal or something, that crunch, that sinew type crunch, the leather, the whole piece of hide will be like that. There's lots of variation. I don't have any problem in terms of quality of surface or anything like that, but there's just a lot of variation, and it makes sense. You wouldn't expect every skin or piece of flesh to be the same. It's a live material. The animals, depending on probably the weather they're experiencing, or just even slight genetic differences. Real interesting. CJ, have you ever given more thought to another steel for some of your knives? Absolutely. I think about that. That's a reoccurring thing all the time that's running through my mind, wondering if I'm ready for another steel, if I want to go to another steel type. I have plans for that. I do have a plan. You might see it this year if everything goes just so, but we'll see. Kefart styled spear point. I'm not totally gone on the look of a spear point knife. Just not. I like a mild drop point, like that Loveless there. I like a mild drop point, but in most cases I want the edge to come up and meet the spine. The edge does most of the walking. Not gone on the spear point design, although I do get its effectiveness. I get the point of it, but not totally gone on it. Economy leather, yeah, I don't buy anything in the economy lines anymore. Always like select type brands or select type classes, right? Higher grade leathers. I found them all good, but some of those economy ones these days, yeah, they're soft and mushy. Any last questions? We're almost about to close out the stream here. We're getting to the end of my budgeted time. Really appreciate you chiming in. I just wanted to mention I've got out on the table here. This came in just today. A shipment from Klingspor. Klingspor. A German brand. They have distribution in Canada now. And right here, these are boxes of like Roll-Lock Scotch-Brite, twist locks, which are really, really nice. They sent me 3 full boxes. They sent me a bunch of belts here for my King Industrial belt grinder here, my disc and the wide belt. Dad really likes when Dad is not here working with me. I almost never use that belt grinder. I just don't gravitate towards it. I've gotten so familiar. I worked so long with just my 2x72 that I don't even think about it being there. I walk past it. But Dad, who has come in when we have both grinders or multiple grinders here, he gravitates to that 6x48 quite a bit, and he likes the disc. But I've never been set up real well with belts and discs and stuff for it. So Klingspor is trying that out. And I thought it was really cool when they reached out to me. First, I thought they're reaching out from an advertising perspective. Because if you ever get to the point where you build a substantial following online, even to the point of where mine is, my following, I get emails and contacts constantly, every single day, asking me to advertise and market for their company. We want to send you this product. We'll pay you this much money if you do a review video on your channel so people can see it. They want access to you guys, the audience. Once in a while, I do that if it's a product I'm excited about or I could really use and I'd like to work with this company. Now, even still, I was thinking about this just today, actually. Even still, when I do a video like that, there'll be a couple people that, he's just shilling for another company, right? He's just trying to throw advertisements. I'll get people unsubscribed for that very reason. But I am so selective over the companies that I work with like that. And I turn down so many people. A lot of them I don't even respond to. Some of them I thank them for the opportunity. And most I do. I thank them for the opportunity and tell them, don't close me off. If you have any new product lines in the future, come out, try me again. Maybe it'll be a better time or I'll be interested. But for the most case, I turn those down. But Klingspor reached out, one of their reps here in Canada, and they said, we see your business. We want to give you a taste of the Klingspor product. If you like it, add us to your supplier list. We'd love to become your supplier. I thought that was such a beautiful thing coming from, how I get pitched to so often. We'd love to send you our product, but make sure you get it in front of a lot of people. They're just looking for my business. And I thought that was just real refreshing. So if you want to check out Klingspor, they have a pretty massive product lineup. I know, Michael, I don't know if you use their products, but you might want to consider it being in the fab business, buddy. Coffee Fanatic, how about a closing Bible verse of the day? Ephesians 2. Ephesians 2. Just read Ephesians chapter 2. You're going to get me preaching now. Just one second. I'll read it. I want to make sure I read it nice and cleanly here. Yeah, Ephesians 2, verse 8, one of my favorite Bible verses. For it is by grace that you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves. It is the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. I think an awful lot of people get this totally wrong. Although we should strive to be better, strive to be more like Christ, it is not by those works. Our works are as filthy rags, the word says, not by works, so that no one can boast. You're not working for your salvation, okay? If you are saved in Christ, that is a finished work. It is a free gift of God. Ephesians chapter 2. Go read the whole chapter. Fantastic chapter. Ephesians is a fantastic book. Coffee Fanatic, thanks for asking for that. Richter, I'm guessing you're coming in at the end, buddy. I'm just about to turn off here. At the end of my time, I'm going to go home to my, most of my girls are probably in bed. I got one little night owl, the oldest. She's just has a tough time going to sleep. But Coffee Fanatic, thanks for asking for the piece of scripture. That's a fun idea. Maybe I'll incorporate that. We'll see. Richter, I'm glad you like the Bible reading, buddy. If you guys want to check out Ephesians chapter 2 tonight, premium. Have a great night. Have a great Sabbath tomorrow. I'm so excited. Today was a real nice day here. It was a nice family day, lots of rest, winding down, ate some good food. Tomorrow, we'll be up tomorrow morning. I'll try to sleep in as much as I can tomorrow morning. We'll see. We'll have some food, hang out with the family, read some Bible, spend some time in prayer. We'll head off to church. My dad is leading the worship tomorrow in church, so I'll be on base. Just a family business here. We're a family business. Real excited. We'll come home, have some good Sunday dinner. Just filling you guys in, give you the warm and fuzzies. My wife and I will lay down for an afternoon nap then. Some of the good stuff, man. Some of the good stuff. Thanks, Brad. Maybe I will consider incorporating that. If you're looking for any of these products here on the table that I showed tonight, check out the website, knknives.ca, or email me, kyle@np-inc.ca. You can get in touch. We'll see if we can get something sent out. I had a whole bunch of products on the store go out of stock just in the last 12 or so hours. Quite a few products moving from the store, which is great. Real excited about. But if you're looking for something, I'd advise you to go check it out right now. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. New content coming this week. Hit that like button if you would. Let YouTube know that the stream went well. Have a great Sabbath tomorrow, guys. Really appreciate hanging out with y'all. See ya, Andrew. We'll get that knife in production this week. Thanks, Kathleen.